guys, it's Kate, and I was just thinking to myself that it's been quite a while actually since I did my last grid journal. So I did a little grid on here. These are 2-inch squares in my art journal, and I thought we could get started and do a grid journal today. So I don't have any ideas on what I really want to do yet, but I'm just going to play around with some different supplies and see where we go. Right now I grabbed one of my brushed pens so I can make some different marks, and I'm just going to go around here and make some random black marks on my squares. And I'm not sure if I will mark every single one, but we'll see. And maybe I can do some more solid shapes and just see where it takes us. And we'll let that kind of soak into the paper. And what I might do next is grab just a plain number 2 pencil and kind of add some other marks here. Maybe I can just maybe make some outlines or add some scribbles or just some shapes like this. And it just gives me kind of a thinner line that I can play with. Use this opportunity to make some different types of marks also, and just get out of your comfort zone a little bit and just see what happens. Okay, so I grabbed just a scrap piece of paper and I'm going to get my mixing plate. And I think the first color I want to play with, I have this Liquitex Bright Aqua Green, so that is what I'm going to start with. I'm really feeling the greens and blues today. So I'll just put a little bit of that on my plate. And what I'm going to do is use my scrap piece of paper to make a few sort of finer lines. And so I'm just going to pick up some paint with my angle brush, and I am going to choose a few spots to put a thin layer of paint. And I'm just going to use this to get that nice crisp line. And this is sort of a semi-transparent color, so it will show that ink through it, just like that. Now I'm not going to do that on all of my squares, but I will on a couple. And maybe on this one, I'll just put a stripe. Just like that. And we can always go back. And I think I might go on the outside of my shapes here a little bit. And if I get outside of my square, I don't really care. I am just having some fun here and using this as an exercise, but I am using it as a guide so I can mostly stay where I need to stay. And I guess I'm doing kind of a frame here. Maybe I'll put another little bit of mark right there. And why don't we put some marks just like that? I think what I'll do is switch out my brushes a little bit and get a curvier brush, maybe my filbert, and then I can dab into some more of this paint. And I think I'll make some blobs here. Now for this one, I think what I'll do is put a turquoise glaze over the whole square. It doesn't have to be shapes, it can be a wash or anything. Sky's the limit. Just like that. I think for this one, I'm going to follow my pencil mark a bit and follow this circle outline. Just like that. I guess it's an oval, but you get my drift. Okay, I grabbed some lemon yellow, and I think that's going to be my other sort of primary color. I'm just feeling the bright colors today, and I really want this to pop. So I am going to add that to some of my white areas here and just kind of go from there and see what I want to do next after that. I want to get some blocks of color down before I start really working on my sort of detail work and the other marks that I'm going to make. Now, I am sort of glazing right now over these things, but I am going to knock some back with some more opaque layers, but I want to just kind of build up my color a little bit. And I may also do some glazing over this turquoise because I think that's a really cool look when you get that really beautiful blended green color. Just like that. And I'm not going to cover all of the white on all of them. I'm going to leave some here, and I'm going to blend some here on my blue. But I really love that pop. I think what I'll do here, you know what, I'll go ahead and glaze this also. Okay, for this one, I'm going to add some dashes. And where these shapes are that I painted, I'm just going to fill those in. And for this one, I might just do the inside of that circle, just like that. Okay, I had a few scraps of collage paper from actually my last journal project, and I think I'd like to maybe put these on here. So I used just a square template, so they're just about the size of my grids. So I might make some stripes with one and then just see how it goes with the rest. So I'm going to use some glue with these. It's kind of a heavier paper, so I am going to just put a thin layer of some tacky glue on here just to get it adhered to the paper, and then we can just see how that goes. I'm going to start with one, and I think if I can get my glue out, that is, and I'm just putting a thin line of it on here, but it will adhere well to my journal page. And I think I'm going to put one right across this way, and maybe even another one right across. Oops. Of course, I dipped my finger in the glue, so that's great. Maybe I'll put it right across the bottom. Why not? Just like that. And then I'm going to cut a couple of different shapes. So I kind of like this pink here with the purple, and there's a little bit of a grid behind it, so I want to use this piece. So I'll just get some glue on there. And I might put it right here. Just like that. And another one I really like is this, and maybe I'll do kind of a thick stripe, but maybe I'll have it come off to a point right here, just like that. I think I like it. Maybe right here, right over that blue. I wonder how this will work. I'm going to round off these edges. I wonder if that will go right there. I think it will. And I might as well use this piece here. Why not? And I'm going to experiment with a little bit of a different shape or different shapes. Like this is kind of just a weird shape, but I really love the way the paint is on that paper. So I just need to find a place where I would like to have it. I really love collage because it's a lot different than just having some paint there, and you can get some very interesting effects. I don't think I like that placement because it kind of splits my paper right in half. So what I might do is maybe just switch the angle a little bit and it's more diagonal. It's still kind of going in half, but not quite the same way, so that's fine. And what I might do is cut out a couple of little round shapes, and I might actually use this over here. It's got a little bit more contrast and a little bit more texture, so I'm going to do that, and I'll cut out 3 little circles. I think I want to add a little bit of something else to this middle block. And I'm going to press down on that a little bit more. What I might do is put it right up against this top turquoise piece. Okay, I grabbed some of this flesh tint. It's kind of a peachy pink, and I'm going to grab my stylus and add a few dots to some places. And I think I'm going to start right here in my bottom corner. And just add where I think it should go. So I've got some sort of square pattern here from my stencil, and I think adding those dots there, I don't know, I really like how that looks. So I'm going to start there, and I think what I might do also is add some dots around this piece. That way we have some contrast coming into that dark purple. I think for this one up here, I'm going to add that as a glaze to that big white area around the turquoise and yellow. Maybe make this more the primary color for this square. I'm going to break out this piece of scrap paper again, and I'm going to go right down over this yellow, just like that. And I think here, maybe I'll just come around the outside. I think next I'm going to grab my small round brush right here. And actually, I think I want some more of that peach. I only put a little tiny blob out because I wasn't sure how much I would use, but I actually like that a lot. So what I might do here is make a line right through these triangles, and I might just keep going with this sort of intersection theme and come straight up to the top there, just like that. And I think I like that a lot. And I'm trying to keep in mind a little bit of a focal area, which my collage paper is kind of acting as right now. But I'm just trying to be a little bit strategic at this point and start kind of finishing these up. And what I might do here is I've got some of that yellow. I might do a pink stripe here right along the top of that collage paper. And maybe I make it just a little bit wider, not too much. I want it to be thinner than the collage piece. And maybe I will just add a little bit to the top here and go around these little shapes and add just a little bit here. Like that. I think the only thing left that I want to do is just add a little bit of a pop here. But now we really need to add some white back into some of this. So I'm going to grab my titanium white and just put a tiny amount on my plate. And this will give us some nice pops of brightness. I think maybe first I'll go to this middle one. I'd like to add a few white dots. I want to keep some dots going, but I don't need them all to be pink. And you guys who have been watching me for a while, you know how I love my dots. It just adds some nice texture, and I just can't stop myself from doing them. All right, I think I'm going to add them just to the inside edges of my triangles like that. And actually, now that that's kind of soaked in, I'm going to grab some more of this peach color too and just reinforce this line, because right now it's kind of like a glaze. I want to brighten it up just a bit. Same thing here. I think I'd like to maybe solidify a little bit of this area too, so it's not quite so much like a glaze where you can see everything through it. I want to knock back that black just a little bit more and make this kind of the star of the show. And maybe I'll even add just a little line right there. Why not? Now back to white. I'm going to get a little bit of a brush load. I think I'm going to follow the edge of that. I like that a lot. Okay. And I think I'll make a white stripe next to this turquoise. And it's kind of hard to see unless you're just close up to it, but I think that looks pretty neat. All right, now for this one, I'm going to follow the edge of my peach line just to give it some more contrast. I feel like I want to do something here, and this kind of divided my paper in half. So what I might do to combat that a little bit is add another line right there. And then follow up this blue. Why not, right? And here, I'm going to fill in a little square or a rectangle. Right there. Now, the one that's really the darkest is this one here. It's all kind of mid-tone or dark. So I think I might go around the outside and just add a bit of highlight. I really like how this shape turned out. And I think that looks pretty good. And this one has a pretty good pop of white and it's pretty busy. So I think I will leave that one as is. And I might add a little bit of white around that just to outline it a little more. Almost looks like a little monster smiley face. And I've got, so now I'm going to go through my squares and say, do all of these have midtones? Yes. Do all of them have brights? Yes. And do all of them have dark tones? Yes. So I have everything I need. I've got plenty of contrast. I think they all have a decent focal point, although maybe this one not so much. So something I can do is right now I've got turquoise just here on the edge. What I could do is kind of follow that dot theme a little bit, and I can sort of marry this together even more by bringing that turquoise out here. And I think that actually works. And it kind of gives us our little focal center. We do a little triangle here. Because who says we can't go over a shape, right? All right. And maybe we add another little turquoise stripe there. I would say this is the focal area here, and here I think the purple is. But you know what? I'm going to add some dots to this one also. All right, I think we can call this exercise good. It was a lot of fun, and also I have some really interesting little shapes on here, so I'm pretty pleased. And I worked with some very bright colors. That lemon yellow, boy, it's really in your face like a highlighter. But I'm going to give you a close-up so you can see all of the little grid paintings. And I really like using collage too. It's a lot of fun, and it just really helps get you, I don't know, it's hard to control. Like, I don't know, when I'm painting, and I don't know if you feel the same way or experience the same thing, but when I'm painting, it's like, okay, where do I put my brush next? Where do I put my brush next? And you can kind of overthink it, or I can. But when I am just cutting like these random little shapes of texture from a collage paper, and it doesn't even have to be anything, like this is just some stripes basically, but because you're cutting it out and it's its own shape, but it also has sort of uncontrolled brush strokes in it, it makes it, I don't know, interesting to me. I really like using collage, and the more I do it, the more I really kind of miss it when I don't have it in a painting. So it's been kind of a fun journey. But anyway, I'll stop chatting. You have a wonderful day. I hope you do a grid journal and make your own beautiful work of art or beautiful exercise, whatever you want to do. And until next time, keep creating. Bye.